Hi everybody, my name's Lyn Beazley and I am absolutely proud to be the patron of Techtrails within Women in Technology WA. Well, who am I? You can tell by my voice I'm not Australian. I come from the UK, from the south of England, with a place with probably the worst name on the planet, Gravesend. I went to a state school and I was lucky enough. When I was in about year 9, we had a school excursion and we went to Charles Darwin's house. You know, the guy who thought about evolution and made us see how we fit into the natural world a lot more. Well, he actually did most of his experiments after he'd done 5 years sailing around the world from his living room, and you can go in his house and see what he did. Then I knew I wanted to be a biologist. I didn't know quite what aspect, but I was really fascinated about what puts us together, why plants are the way they are, how animals know to migrate around the planet, all this stuff. I just wanted to know more about it. So I was lucky enough to get into uni and I studied zoology. I was really interested in animals, but I didn't know what I was going to do next. Where would I go with a degree knowing about animals? Well, at the last minute, just before I did my final exams, I went to an evening lecture. Now, I should tell you I went because I was a very hard-working student and wouldn't miss a lecture. The bottom line was I went because my boyfriend was going. I didn't end up marrying him. I married somebody else, but he got me to that lecture. And I heard a doctor say that animals, things like fish and frogs, were much better at fixing up their brains and spinal cords after injury. So they wouldn't have ended up in a wheelchair after an accident, for example, because they'd repair their nervous systems. We can't do that in humans. We're still struggling to learn how to do it. But he thought that we could learn a lot by tuning into those animals and how they did it. And I thought, I know a bit about animals, so why don't I give it a go? So I became a neuroscientist. And my whole career at the university, I moved from Britain, got married, had 1 daughter, 2 more born here. I've also now got 7 grandchildren. But throughout my career here in Western Australia, working in a university, doing research to find out how to protect the developing brain and get it to repair itself. And I even did research with the doctors who are at King Edward Memorial Hospital. Some of you might have been born there, so that we can make sure that babies who are at risk from being born premature have a brain that's working perfectly. And the discoveries we made have helped one of my own grandchildren, Jemima, be born healthy, which she wouldn't have done without our research. And that's helped babies around the world, just not little Jemima. I've been incredibly lucky because of that. But out of nowhere, I was invited by the state government to become the chief scientist of Western Australia. I was the first woman to hold such a post anywhere in Australia, and that meant that I was working, giving advice to government on, it could be where to put a new port, fishing industries, mining, where we needed new hospitals, what research we needed in the state to address the issues specific to us, where we're going to go to get renewable energy, all these questions. I didn't have all the answers, but I did have connections to help the best brains in the world to give that advice and to work with industry. But one of the funnest things I did was to go to schools, because I knew how important it was going to be to get the next generation doing what they love, and a lot of that will be in science, technology, engineering and maths. It's a great career for men and for women. So boys and girls, the opportunity there. It's taken me around the world. It's given me a great life. And therefore, when I was invited by Women in Technology WA to be involved in their Techtrails program, where we would go to schools and we'd all share the stories of the excitement and the potential that doing science will make, I jumped on board straight away. And for those of you who think, well, science isn't for me, imagine doing maths to get yourself a job. You could become a meteorologist predicting the next cyclone, or you could be working for a bank, working out better ways, the right interest rates for your mortgage, things like that that you wouldn't think of within STEM, but they really are. If you become a lawyer, a lot of your clients are going to be those who come through with issues around environmental law and health law. Imagine how important it is. Whatever you do, you're going to be voting. How do I want the energy that I have in my house? Where do I want that coming from? Do I want it from fossil fuels, or do I want it from renewable energy? But what's the way to get to that aim where we want a sustainable planet? You can be part of all that, and be part of Techtrails means that you are getting onto the fast lane. You're fast-tracked to understand science better. I wish I'd had Techtrails when I was a school kid. I think it would have helped a lot. I was lucky enough to make, I think, decisions to give me a wonderful life, and I'm hoping that Techtrails will help you make those decisions too.